I'm Dr. Steve Pieczenik. I wanted to talk to you, the American people, about the next 5 days in our republic. For the most part, many of you have understood that there was a civilian coup by Hillary Clinton and her sycophants regarding the takeover of the American republic. As we've talked before, there was a counter-coup initiated by those of us in the intelligence community, in the FBI, the New York Police Department, and many other institutions, both civilian and military, who were concerned about what Hillary and her friends were doing. That coup came out not through bullets or guns or tanks or soldiers. It came out through the egress of countless numbers of emails, literally in the thousands, that were exposed by many of our friends in the government who were concerned about the nature of the republic and what was happening to it as Hillary and her cohorts were corrupting our system. The next 5 days are important because I want you to think very carefully about the state of the republic. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that in the past, we have had interruptions that were either initiated within the government or occurred because of other reasons. Let me give you an example. When I worked with Nixon in the Nixon administration, we initiated what was called a soft coup. Basically, Nixon was incapacitated both physically and mentally, and we thank Henry Kissinger, who was Secretary of State, and literally held the country together and gave us a posture in the world which allowed us to maintain our supremacy. Under the Reagan administration, when he was unfortunately shot, George Bush, the Vice President Sr., took over, and with George Bush Sr. and Baker, we were able to maintain the continuity of the republic. And what I'm talking to you about now is the importance for all of us to think very seriously about the institutions that we have, the institutions that we don't particularly like and want to take over. But at the same time, we have to be very careful that we do not rip apart the fabric of this republic. And what do I mean by that? I mean that we don't need guns, we don't need violence, we need a responsible protest, as we have seen on behalf of the people who work with Trump, believe in Trump, and others who are independents, who believed in Bernie Sanders and who wanted Bernie Sanders to come in. That's a natural sequence for the republic, and it's an important element of dissent within our republic. If we were to go out and agitate and create havoc in the streets, we would be counterproductive. Why? Because the world would look at us and say, look, we're no better than the third-rate republic like Panama or Venezuela. In effect, what's happening is, because of the bravery of many men and women in the FBI, the CIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, the National Security Agency, and many others within the 15 intelligence bureaus, they've come forth and they've said, we want to maintain the integrity of the republic, and we will do that in a peaceful way. I share that point of view. When I say that there's a coup, I do not mean that you kill people or you go out and you create agitation, propaganda, and fire in the streets and disrupt the everyday work life of America. What I mean by that is that we have been able, through the internet, to disrupt any activities which are not beneficial to the republic. Who determines that? Pretty much you do, the American public. And when the American public was disturbed by what they heard and saw with regards to Hillary and Bill Clinton and Podesta and Uma Abedin, they reacted appropriately. I want to thank the Trump family for having come forth and offered their services to this country. They didn't have to. They were not a political family. They were a business family, a lovely family of entrepreneurs who took the time and effort and the risk to present their father in the forefront and who took a lot of abuses. Clearly, he's not a saint, but at the same time, he's not a sinner. He is someone who expresses the voice of discontent in our republic. And at the same time, there was Bernie Sanders, who expressed that discontent. For whatever reason, he decided to bow out of the race. It's unfortunate from my point of view because I had a lot of respect for him. I saw him give a speech in Warner, New Hampshire, and I really admired what he had done. And on both ends, with Bernie Sanders and Trump, we had a very effective dissent in this modern age in the 21st century. But remember, corruption will be part of any hierarchical system, no matter where you go. A certain amount of corruption is inherent in a system where people have to rule other people. What really begs the issue is the amount of corruption. With the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton individuals, we had so much corruption that it basically undermined the republic. Obama was part of that corruption. The Bushes were part of that corruption, as Bill Clinton was. So in effect, you have to think of this revolution in a timeline between the 1990s and 2016, when Bill Clinton first came in, stole the election, and then the Bushes came back in, stole their election in Florida. And now we, the people, are taking away that right of the Clintons or anyone else to determine our fate. I want to thank you all on behalf of myself and those of us who've served this country and to continue to serve the country, both in a civilian and a military fashion. And I want you to understand that come November 8th, it will be a peaceful change of administrations. And whatever happens, remember, the revolution is not over. Democracy requires a constant vigilance and dissension. That's part of what makes us so great. But I caution you, do not express this in a hysterical fashion or in an agitated way. Let us peacefully go forth, express our dissent, and vote accordingly. And hopefully we can win this time. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. America, and God bless you.